Good morning, YouTube America. Well, I figured I'm making an amendment to my my regular morning routine and share a little bit with you. Uh, every Wednesday morning at 7:30 a.m., I have to go down to the state court, the county courthouse in Des Moines to visit with some fine people to inform them that I'm homeless, that I'm no different from what I was the previous week or the week before or last month since getting out of prison. Uh, this is part of the loops and hoops and step ladders that the legislature and the public safety people have created to help protect people out there like you from people like me, I guess, because I'm such a terrible person. You know, this is a awful inconvenience and a bit unfair, but nobody cares about fairness in this country. Not really. Not at the end of the day. I guarantee you, if I was your brother or your son, and they had to do this every week, you'd have some issues with it too. Uh, this involves some hardship on my family's part, my own part. I have to make sure that my employer knows that there are certain hours every week that I cannot miss. Even to the point I've made it clear that if that the difference between walking off the job and reporting to these people that I need to report to, uh, which in other situations I wouldn't have to report to except once or twice a year, but because of my lack of a permanent abode, they put this extra constraint on me. You know, I discharged my number. I paid my debt to society. I don't owe any restitution. Uh, I don't have any special sentences or any other requirements on me other than the residency law. Oh, excuse me. This is my morning, which also would be my evening if you want to look at it. Since I just come from work, I've been working all night. This is the way the job works. Yeah, day before yesterday, I came off of a 21-hour straight marathon. We did 3 different jobs plus some stuff around the shop. So, you know, it helps create some decent paychecks, but not enough to get me off the street. Not yet. Uh, there's other, mitigating circumstances that makes that a little tougher to do. Starting with, excuse me. I didn't have time to stop and get a coffee. It's beginning with the fact that I owe $147.50 a week. That's a week in child support, roughly $600 a month, which is about 30% of my gross check. So if I want any decent paycheck, I have to work the hours. I have to get the overtime. That means working 21 days, or 21 hours a day? Oh, 7 days a week. Then so be it. You know, as long as I'm physically capable of doing so, like I said, sometimes we don't have any choices. But anyway, what you don't see behind me, or behind you, I should say, is, like I said, the Polk County Courthouse. It's a iconic building. It's been there for a long time. Yeah. See, bigger. You can't really get a good view of it. Not really. It's too dark, and I don't feel like trying to sit here and record this thing during daylight hours because we won't be here. I'll be somewhere where I normally go to get some sleep, since I'm not allowed to sleep at my mom's house. My wife's there, but I'm not allowed to sleep there. I can visit, I can shower, I can eat, I can spend most of the day there when I'm not working, but I can't sleep there. Which, in case some of you are, more observant folks might notice, I'm not in the Ford Focus. They say it when it pours, when it rains, it pours. I was getting ready to go to work this evening, or last night, and on the way to work, the car started to suffer some sort of mechanical failure. Excuse me for the shouting, but the my limited experience with the front wheel drive vehicles, I'm not sure what it is. To me, it feels like the transmission is slipping. And that's the worst case scenario because the transmission, I imagine, is in the excess of $2,000 or $3,000. That's a major investment, which will put a hardship on myself because my mother can't pay that. She can't pay that, and frankly, I need the car. I was saving to buy a van or an RV. Seen a couple of vans for under $1,000, which would have given me a little bit more leg room and some opportunities to actually have my wife come and spend a couple of nights a week with me occasionally. It's hard. It's hard on her. It's hard on me. Hard on my family to have to deal with this kind of stuff. But, the argument is, hey, you put yourself in prison. You caught the case. You the one who had blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Well, it's easy to say that. Yeah, I screwed up. Yeah, I made a mistake. I owned up to it. I was honest. They put me away for fucking 30 years. Translated it with good time, and the way the system works when you don't have a mandatory, cutting it in half, 13 and a half years. I could have come out 10 years ago. I was eligible for work release, but they wouldn't let me take treatment. Nobody cares about that shit. Nobody cares about the injustice of the bureaucracy. This was an election night. We now have a president, according to the radio. It sounds like President Trump. Well, we'll see how good that turns out. Well, like I said, I wasn't exactly a fan of Hillary. She's part of the old school establishment. Trump is a wild card, and the problem with Trump is, even if he has intentions to do good work, the parties on both sides of the table are going to work against him. His own Republican Party didn't want him running. They did not want him representing them. And, of course, they're sucking up to him now, but they're going to be backstabbing him tomorrow. Because, hey, the Republican Party's gotten a pretty bad reputation of doing some pretty bizarre and asinine behavior that's detrimental to their own party interests, to prove some point. We'll see. Good luck. I guess that kills the minimum wage. The minimum wage that everybody's talking about raising to $10. I'm pretty sure Trump's going to try to do the opposite. He has his way. We'll be all working for $1. Good old communism works wonders. My grandfather once told me the only difference between communism and capitalism is that in a communist society, you work for the state, and the state gives you allowance. You live off of it. In a democracy, or in a capitalistic society as America, we work for ourselves, we get a paycheck, and then Uncle Sam keeps a piece of it. So, and lets us know how much of it they're keeping. So there's, not a lot of difference. And, damn it, and the nuances between them. It's rough. Like I said, these work in these strange hours, and then normally I'd go to sleep, but I have to kill an hour, and that's why we're doing this in part. Uh, I'll have to go up here at 7:30 when they open the door and go in, and I get to push a button that lets the clerks know that I'm here. There's this little bench out there for the other 8 or 9 people in my situation. And believe it, there's men and women, there's old people, and there's young people. And when you look at them, none of them looks like Chester. None of them looks like the monster that everybody wants us to be. How do you pick us out? A kid that didn't know any better, he's got to pay for the rest of his life. An elderly woman who was, well, I'm not sure what her story is, but she comes every week. She's homeless. A couple other fellows, I think, in a similar situation from me as me. They sleep in their vehicles because it's just the fact of we're skirting the loophole of the law, so to speak. Oh yeah. I think my car's trying to tell me something. Yeah, see. Just make sure we have it running, because we don't want to find ourselves with a dead battery. I put a brand new battery in this car, as I said, and I did not want to put a second one in. This is my only means of transportation, and if something were to happen to it, I'd be in a very bad pickle. I get to experience the chance of trying to fall asleep in this thing. It is alumina. The front end is a little bigger than it looks on the outside, bigger in the inside than it looks. I think I could probably stretch out to some degree. Oh, but I don't have a choice. I don't have a choice. Somebody at work once asked me here a couple of weeks ago, well, can't you just take a nap with your moms? No, I don't dare. I don't dare. One person sits there and says, well, he's sleeping there. He's sleeping in the afternoons over there. And I could get sent back to prison for a stupid violation. How is it that a man can do a sentence, complete all his time, and still be afraid of violating some BS that's going to send him back to prison? It just doesn't seem right. It just doesn't seem fair. Well, what about the victim? Well, what about the victim? I can't help that. I can't fix the victim. I can't go back and offer restitution. They wanted restitution, that had gotten that a long time ago. I can't go out and campaign to fix this, that, and the other thing, when the whole society, no offense, folks, you and most of the people around you are part of the problem. We condone a lot of inappropriate behavior, a lot of behavior in the media and in advertising, in the movies, the list just goes on and on. And we encourage a couple mindsets that we shouldn't encourage, and yet we do. And then we want to do this, oh, you bastard. Why did you do that? I would never do that. Okay, right. Yeah. Well, yeah, you do. In your head, your mind, you do act and you do think occasionally, and you do things that you shouldn't do, and you know that. And maybe not to the degree that'll catch you a felony, but at some point, it's a very, very fine line between, catching a felony and getting a fair warning. There's a lot of things the judicial system in the state of Iowa does not do anymore, and such as fair and impartial. That went out a long time ago. It's all about the deal. There's a bit of humiliation involved here too. They get their rocks off on it. So the place where we have to go to every week, there's a small bench out front, not enough room for the 8 or 9 people that can show up at one time. We are right out in the main lobby as people are coming into the damn courthouse. You gotta go through security, and there we are with a big old sign that says, hey, you come here and register. This is where you gotta sit in line. And then it's first come, first served, except for the homeless crazy guy who just, I was out here first, and I'm gonna get about it. He just gets up and walks in. What do you do? Even the crazy people should have a place to go. So if the car's transmission's bad, it'll take a while to get the money to fix it. Most of my checks for the next month, I guess, plus what I got in savings now, will probably get it fixed. Which means I'm stuck in this car. And thank God for Mom having a second car. She kept this car for me, so this car was intended for me anyway. It's just that it's not the best thing for a sleeping arrangement. And the weather's getting worse. Well, what are you going to do, right? You sit there and say, who cares? Who cares? You don't have this problem. Well, I do. I care. My wife cares. I haven't slept in the same bed with my wife since the week I was out of prison when my sister helped pay for a hotel room. I have to say goodnight to her, goodbye to her at the door. And sometimes, Monday night, I was gone 2 days because between the job hours and trying to snatch some sleep in, that's just the way it worked. A lot of people think I know something. and rightly so. I don't think I'm always entitled to sympathy, but I'd like a little empathy. You know, I did run this GoFundMe thing; it's still there. Not that any people care. If everyone could use the money, you know, really could. But since I don't have the big, huge list of Facebook followers to tap into, you know, all I got to say is with these YouTube videos and whatever little attention they can drag. Well, you know, I'm starting to doze off out here. I got to set my alarm and make sure I don't do that because God forbid I'm late. I don't know what the penalty would be, and I don't want to find out. You know, I want to stay free. I want to be there for my mother and my wife and my sister. I want to be able to do the right things and make life matter again. You know, it's a simple thing, and yet it's so important. I don't think I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go and get on about your morning. Enjoy your commute and whatever else you do. And you know, don't give a second thought about that person over there that might not have breakfast or have a coffee today.